Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you so much for being on board. This is all about wine education for everybody. So I take a topic or certainly something very fascinating or a region or a country, and I talk about giving you all the information you need to help you understand it and enjoy it more. It follows the syllabus of very key educational texts, such as WSET. So if you are studying, you will find these exceptionally useful. Now, welcome to a series on New Zealand. So New Zealand, beautiful country, isolated in the Pacific, making exquisitely aromatic wines and beautiful, delicate reds. There are so many good wines to be found. Now, this is the series on the North Island, Series 2, and we're on part 3, discussing the all-important Hawke's Bay on the eastern side of the North Island. Now, if you have a question, or maybe you have a comment, perhaps you have been to New Zealand, Hawke's Bay, Napier, Hastings, Esk Valley, Gimblet Gravels, perhaps you have some favourite wines, please do get in touch. It would be great to hear from you. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Okay, well, let's first of all discuss where Hawke's Bay is located. So on your map on the left-hand side, this is number 5, firmly located on the eastern side of the North Island. So it's centred around the cities of Napier and Hastings. Vines were first planted here in 1851 by Marist missionaries, and Hawke's Bay enjoys a significant international reputation for producing some of the country's best wines, both red and white. Perhaps you have tried some of the exquisite Syrah that comes from here. The view you'll see here is of the Tomato Peak, or from the Tomato Peak in the Hawke's Bay wine region. So it gives you an idea of the peak that shadows it and the landscape we have here. Statistically, this is the second most importantly planted region. So it's the oldest wine region in New Zealand, and we have today about 4,800 hectares as of 2023. It stayed pretty stable in the last 10 years, so it's a fairly well consistent region, Hawke's Bay. It is second, of course, to Marlborough, who is a country mile ahead. The climate here, another picture of Craggy Range, giving you an idea of the cloud formation. It looks kind of cooler in that picture, doesn't it? The climate is moderate maritime, similar to that of Bordeaux, with plenty of sunshine, 2,180 hours or approximate around there. The rainfall's about 1,000 millimetres per year, so it's on par with Gisborne, which sits to the north of it. The geology is quite specific. The conditions of the climate, paired with the gravelly alluvial soils, similar to those that you find in the Medoc in Bordeaux, have led to Bordeaux-inspired Merlot-dominant blends. Very small amounts of Cabernet Sauvignon are grown. It does struggle historically to ripen in cooler years, but with improved planting materials, better knowledge and viticultural understanding means that producers are much more positive about the future of Cabernet Sauvignon and pairing that up to a greater level with Merlot. There's the wonderful picture of gravelly soils with irrigation, which is necessary here due to the free draining nature, despite the high rainfall. Let's talk about the subregions we find here. So probably Gimblet Gravels and Bridge Par are the two best known subregions. Their inland location means they have quite warm days. However, with some moderating influence from the coast, there can be problems with frost. Both of those subregions are located on alluvial terraces with gravelly soils. Of course, the etymology of Gimblet Gravels is very much linked to its terroir. That stony topsoil in Gimblet Gravels becomes very warm during the day and releases heat into the evening, helping Syrah, Merlot, and Cabernet to ripen more successfully. And once again, irrigation is very, very important here due to the huge free draining nature of these soils, and there are irrigation pipes at the bottom of those vines. I mentioned the Bridge Par Triangle, or known as Bridge Par. It has a deeper topsoil of sandy and clay loam, and that's the kind of reds and pinks that you see on your picture. This is located to sort of the south section of Gimblet Gravels. Now, this soil aids water retention and it limits the need for irrigation in this zone. Other subregions, I've just included a couple more. The coastal areas such as Esk River Valley and Tiawanga, these two grape growing areas are located directly on the coast and enjoy the most dramatic effects of temperature, climate, and the long growing season. Temperate climate, excuse me. The gravelly soils of Bay View in the northern Esk River Valley area and Tiawanga in the south have achieved good recognition for Chardonnay and early ripening reds such as Pinot Noir. And on the map, you'll see Esk Valley to the northern area and Tiawanga towards the southern. Here is a picture of Esk Valley Vineyard, which is the most well known in the Esk Valley River area. So the styles we find. Merlot, the dominant variety, is made in a range of styles. Simple, fruity, inexpensive Merlot wines are often made with little oak influence, and there is the Oyster Bay, Hawke's Bay Merlot, being soft and fruity in style. Cabernet Sauvignon, also blended with Merlot and Cabernet Franc. These are often quite outstanding, premium priced, with more concentrated character, often matured in French oak barrels for about 1 to 1.5 years. They're deeply coloured with some wonderful character behind them as well, but still have that herbaceous element due to the cooler conditions here. Also look out for quite interesting perfumed Malbec, which is becoming both popular in the blends and also as single varietal bottling. Syrah is, for me, possibly the signature and most important variety for my palate because of the high levels of rotundome which you find in a Hawke's Bay or Gimblet Gravels Syrah, so the intense peppery character. Now, Hawke's Bay is home to 75% of the total Syrah plantings in New Zealand, but Syrah is only around 350 hectares in total. Blackberry, very ripe, with black pepper spice, clove, cardamom, and floral characters, giving a medium plus body and a medium plus acidity. French oak for maybe 1 to 1.5 years, and typically the finest examples here, such as the Trinity Hill Homage, are outstanding. But even the standard Hawke's Bay Trinity Hill is beautifully fresh and aromatic. The Gimblet Gravels a bit more deeper, and this one, of course, the most fullest. Chardonnay is also grown here in a range of styles. You'll find relatively simple wines intended for early drinking, to all the way to premium wines with restrained grapefruit and white stone fruit aromatics. But you'll typically find that quite classic struck match reduction too, from reductive sulfur compounds. Typically, these wines are medium to full-bodied with medium acidity. Barrel fermentation is commonplace, certainly on the premium wines. Chardonnay grown on the coast tends to be higher in acidity with lower alcohol and a citric note. They typically are good to outstanding. The bottle here is the wonderful Bilancia, which make exquisite Chardonnay from Hawke's Bay. Okay, let's have a look at the Google Earth video here. So we're going to focus on the North Island, and we'll, of course, go then into the Hawke's Bay region, which has around 4,800 hectares under vine, the second largest in New Zealand. It's a moderate maritime climate, experiencing somewhat around 2,000 200 hours of sunshine per year, and it has about 1,000 millimeters of rain because it has some protection from the central mountains that we find in the north part of in the central part of the North Island. They're the two cities that the region is centered around. That's Napier and Hastings. Let's just jump over to get a bit of an idea for the topography. There you are. So it's not anywhere near as extensive, of course, as the Southern Alps in the Southern Island, but you do get a sense of some protection here from the Tasman. Then we're going to look at, of course, the Gimblet Gravels, the most famous. It's inland, it's warmer, on alluvial gravel terraces with free draining capability. Great Syrah and Bordeaux blends here. Irrigation is necessary. South of that, Bridge Par Triangle with deeper soils of sandy loams and clays. Then we'll go to the coastal parts where we find in the north of Napier, Esk Valley. These areas have more sort of temperate climates, longer growing season, and the Bay View area of Esk Valley, plus Tiawanga that we're about to look at now, south in Hawke's Bay, are very well known for more gravelly soils, and Pinot Noir and Chardonnay does specifically well. So they're in Tiawanga in the blue outlined, but also the Bay View part of Esk Valley. Okay, that brings me to a conclusion for part 3. I do hope you've enjoyed learning about the wines of Hawke's Bay. If you do have any comments or questions about this presentation, please do get in touch by commenting on this video below. Make sure you click like and you click subscribe. Please join me for part 4 on Wairarapa. Now, parts 1, 2, and 4 are only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning platform. You'll find information about that over at www.winewithjimmy.com. Thank you for your time. I'll see you on the other side. Ciao for now.